Thank you, Barry. We're starting two traditions today, and they both involve honoring people whom we consider extraordinary and deserving of the awards we will be giving to them today, and this will be annual tributes as well. The first one is intended to honor young people who, with courage and good judgment, have challenged in favor of preserving the Constitution and preserving the issue of separation of church and state. So that first honor is about to be given. I call on Greg Lipper of our staff to introduce our first honoree.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. My name is Greg Lipper. I've joined Americans United in January as Litigation Counsel. And one of the cases I've spent a lot of time on is, and a lot of trips to Texas on, is the case of Shultz versus Medina Valley Independent School District. And when you get to high school, there's a lot of students, a lot of kids who decide they want to become lawyers when they grow up, and some of them decide to hone their jury skills by doing things like mock trial, and others want to develop, airtight policy arguments by joining the debate team, and still others want to learn about how legislation is enacted, and so they do things like student congress. But few, if any, high school students decide they're going to build their own constitutional case from the ground up. Few, if any, high school students, though, are like Corwin Schultz. As a sophomore, after learning from his father that no, the principal can't violate the Constitution, Corwyn went into the principal's office and filed an official written complaint about the principal's religious statements over the public school loudspeaker. And he continued on. He confronted the principal repeatedly about what he was doing, took photographs of religious signs on the vice principal's wall and of a church cup being used as a hall pass. And by the time he got to his senior year, after doggedly tracking down the principal and getting confirmation that there would again be multiple prayers at the high school graduation, not only joined this case, but even went so far as to boycott his own high school graduation in protest of the fact that there would be prayers. As a result, and he did all of this, I should add, before he turned 18. As a result of this, we now have the aforementioned Shultz versus Medina Valley case. We're in the middle of discovery, and we just got a trial date for January. And win, lose, or settle, for the first time in years, if not decades, there's a spotlight on what's been going on at this high school and at the school district, and on practices that had been considered, that had continued unchallenged and unquestioned for a long period of time. And so for serving as both the best and most courageous schoolhouse lawyer in the state of Texas, we give our Religious Liberty Award to Corwin Schultz.
I'd like to share how I came here today, by being stubborn. I've been called many things in my short 18 years, but being stubborn is, I've heard that the most. I was 3 weeks late to my own birth, and in trying to avoid the inevitable, I broke both of my collarbones on the way out. When I was 2 years old, I was given the name Wolfie by a Native American friend for growling instead of crying when I was frustrated. I'm sure I was the only second grader in my school to complain when we were watching cartoons instead of learning. And I demanded an education, and my parents, they agreed. And shortly after that, I was homeschooled. I was a stubborn and loyal soccer player, and usually was the first kid on my team to to deliver the shortcomings of people who took cheap shots at my players. I was also a little competitive. I was the only eight-year-old protester in my neighborhood protesting the Iraq War. In fact, I was the only protester in my neighborhood. When I was thrusting signs and standing in the middle of the street at people, my mom had to teach me how to occupy a public space and protest safely. I also learned how to talk to the police. Being stubborn has helped me in my attempts to master the trumpet, guitar, bass, and drums. I'm still trying, but playing anything by AC/DC will surely get my dad to smile. This may be attorney-client protection or whatever Greg keeps going on about. But stubbornness may have been the reason my experience in high school had been so complicated. Anyhow, Medina Valley will never be the same. Americans United, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done. This is more than I ever wanted. And I'd like to thank my family for standing by me, and my brother, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, and everyone over there at that table, and all of you. Thank you very much.